About 150 people were caught, of which 60 were being prepared for deportation. They arrived for a month and a week for 5 weeks. The demonstration by immigration officers from Jakarta will last for another 2 weeks.
Subtitles made by Torzok. Well, here are the latest news for our dear 3 subscribers.
By the way, there are more of them now.
This is an illusion. So, I want to ask all the subscribers who are watching our video without subscribing not to subscribe or like it in any case, because the information is very valuable, and it simply saves a huge amount of money. Accordingly, these subscribers popularize information, simply taking away the bread from lawyers, attorneys, and others. Yes, I agree. So let's hear some maybe latest news, or not the latest news, something...
The main news is that the demonstration by immigration officers from Jakarta, who came here to check the legality or illegality of foreigners' actions, will last for another 2 weeks.
Is this a scheduled inspection?
Yes, it's a planned story.
There is also a rumor that an additional anti-corruption inspection is being imposed on this entire check. How true is this?
Well, it all depends on the wording, how it is called. Right now, what is happening is largely related to the emergence of a new president and the need to somehow provide something to the people, who are primarily dissatisfied with the fact that a lot of foreigners have come here and are engaging in labor activities illegally. So, accordingly, they decided to give something to the people in this way.
Wait. Bali is fighting to attract more foreigners and tourists, but at the same time, it is struggling to prevent them from being besieged.
Well, you see, Bali is dealing with 3 main issues. The first is illegal immigration. This means that people who come here should have legal status. And in accordance with this status, they were here and doing something or not doing anything. Ideally, as we know, some would be better off doing nothing at all. Second, wait, I'll explain. The second point is the fight for ecology. Consequently, forests are being cut down, ecosystems are collapsing. What do tourists have to do with it?
What do tourists have to do with this?
And third, look how beautifully I will now lead into this. It's about mass construction. So, what do tourists have to do with this, right? I mean, people come here, they like everything, and they're like, oh, we want to build something here. They start building, destroy forests, or God forbid, engage in this illegally. So, there are 3 such issues that everyone is fighting against. Right now, the focus is specifically on fighting against illegal immigrants.
In other words, developers are not exactly favored by the people here.
Very much disliked, yes, but loved by the government, not by the people.
Of course. Who do the people here love among foreigners? How to behave, or what to do, or who to be, in order for the locals, so to speak, to love and respect you?
Listen, I think people love 2 types of foreigners. The first are tourists who actually come here to spend their money. And secondly, the businessmen who come here with legal status, opening businesses and creating jobs, thereby providing employment. That is, in the ancient category.
What type of business is this?
Right now, it's mainly about development, if you think about it.
That is, they are loved at the same time, but not very much.
Yes, of course. From a natural perspective, it's bad. From the perspective of the money with which we, as Europeans, are very successfully corrupting the Balinese, of course, everything is fine.
So, the introduction lasted 3 minutes. So, emigrashka is causing nightmares. Is there any statistics? Are they coming for a month from Jakarta?
They arrived for a month and a week, for 5 weeks.
Currently, around the world, China, Turkey, and even Dubai are oppressing and simply cutting off the oxygen for businesses, especially those from Russia.
Yes.
Everyone wants to move to a good place to live and recover there as quickly as possible. What would you recommend 100%?
Southeast Asia and 100% Indonesia, because firstly, we have low taxes here, and secondly, we have, in a good sense, a financial dump where there is no strict and rigorous financial regulation, at least at the current moment. It becomes quite easy to relocate or open a new business right here, and from here, having a company in Indonesia to distribute money or send it wherever you need. But who will do it? There is an excellent, amazing, absolutely magnificent channel called Expert Bali. You can go there. There is a lot of useful information on that channel about how to do it step by step and who exactly will do it. And in general, to organize this business practically turnkey, without even flying to Indonesia.
Cool. And what are the results to date? I understand that 3 weeks have passed.
Listen, well, as of today, I don't know. I requested the results about a week ago. About 150 people were caught, of which 60 were being prepared for deportation.
Almost half, right? Yes, yes, yes. For what reasons? Is there such statistics on why people get caught?
Illegal work. Right now I'm saying the main story is illegal work.
Who are these people?
Where from? A person works in a salon doing nails. Hello. Why are you doing nails? The person.
Well, that's in the realm of fantasy. Like a person in the salon.
There is no fantasy at all, absolutely. The person is in the cabin. When they arrive, let me tell you how they arrive. Public flogging. They arrive with their own reporters and their own video recording equipment, and they simply walk down a busy street, entering every nail salon or every massage parlor and spa that they find. They go in, and there is a European woman working there, for example. She is involved in, I don't know, management. Hello, okay, please show your documents that prove you can work here, and show the documents for the salon. It turns out that many of these documents are missing.
What's next?
What happens next? If a violation is directly established on the spot, a person may be told to hand over their passport, and instead of the passport, they will be given a note outlining the violations they are being accused of, and told, for example, to come to immigration tomorrow at a certain time to discuss their case.
They can be packed up and taken away immediately.
Everything depends on the level of audacity and the level of resistance. If you resist, yes, they might pack you up. Why do they pack you up? Because they are afraid that you will somehow evade justice.
Passport. Do I need to carry it with me? As I understand it, if you don't have your passport with you, yes. This European woman says, my passport is lying somewhere over there. What then?
In general, the passport issue, we briefly discussed this topic beforehand, and I also asked our lawyers some questions about it. I was curious about the passport, whether it can be taken away, if it needs to be carried with you, and so on. The main explanation is that you need to carry your passport with you. Honestly, I don't carry mine, and I advise everyone to show photos instead, because in case of some urgent necessity, you can at least buy some time for the arrival of a lawyer, for example, right? And the second thing, while you find the passport, and the second thing is whether this passport needs to be handed over, and so on and so forth. In general, lawyers say it is necessary, but I am afraid that the issue here is not whether it is legal or illegal, but rather that, in our countries we have something similar. We are just afraid of law enforcement agencies, and when we are told to take a certain action, we simply do it. Accordingly, I suspect that the lawyers are also wired in such a way that if the police say it needs to be done, you do it.
Well, what about, from a legal standpoint, a passport is property?
From a legal standpoint, passport ownership means that you can open your passport, show it, present some stamp, or as a substitute for the passport, provide photographs of all visas, if they were supposed to be stamped, the last stamp, and so on. In general, I apologize, I lost my train of thought. In any immigration inspection, it's a standard situation. They sometimes go to cafes. During mass raids, they can enter a restaurant and simply start checking, for example, foreigners who are in that restaurant as part of a mass raid to look for overstayers. For instance, they will be searching for overstayers in some corner or at Jimbaran. Accordingly, for such raids, it's often enough just to have some photos and that's it.
It feels a bit unsettling. In Ubud, thank goodness I haven't heard of such raids happening like that. Or do they occur?
Listen, such raids happen in Ubud, and they even happen in Amlapura. Well, I mean, it's quite a remote area, and not many people go there expecting some kind of raid. But a year ago, very close people, acquaintances of ours, we can even say partially clients, fell under such a raid and later paid quite a substantial fine because they were living in a place where they did not reside according to their kitas, for example.
So you need to have a valid passport. If not, you just show valid identification. So, our subscribers are already writing to us. That means you just show a copy or a photo, and then you can hand over this passport, or you can choose not to hand it over. But if they take it from you, they are obliged to give you some kind of note, right?
Definitely. There are two letters, one stating that the passport has been taken, and the second one specifying the charges against you.
Is everything processed on the spot?
Right on the spot, yes. But again, the main advice is, of course, not to let it get to that point, but if by some chance, immigration has caught you for some reason. It is very important. if there is something against you, to delay as much as possible until the lawyer arrives and to have such a lawyer.
That is, initially, not only do you need to have a lawyer, but you also need to behave correctly, meaning you have to say whether you will or will not. What words should be said when meeting? They checked and started asking some questions.
First of all, one must be kind.
First of all,
And to be honest, the more friendly you are, the fewer questions you will have in general. Because it is believed that responding with aggression is already a certain violation, as you cannot communicate. After all, they are Asians, and you cannot communicate with a law enforcement representative in Asia. In this way, looking down from above, you aggressively confront him. This means you provoke fierce resistance, and you could actually be locked up for a long time. Only for aggression, for confrontation, right? So this is how it is for the regulatory authority. Therefore, this is the first thing that needs to be done.
maximum worship, like to the gods, right?
Maximum respect, but you are not obliged to do absolutely everything you are told. Sometimes a good defense is a smile and saying, yes, okay, I don't have my passport right now. My lawyer will bring it. For example, let's wait for him, shall we? I'll explain. Have a seat. Would you like some tea? Maybe you can tell me what you suspect me of, and perhaps we can resolve the issue right here.
So what's next? Is the lawyer coming or not? What should we do next?
From now on, just do what the lawyer says, basically.
What does a lawyer usually say? I mean, if they offer to provide some explanations and so on, is all of this done with the lawyer? Am I understanding correctly?
It's all with the lawyer and through the lawyer. The story is that when immigration calls you in for questioning, usually, in most cases, no, this is already the second episode. The first series is just them trying to take your passport. Oh, it's fine if they happen to find you somewhere, not on a tip, so to speak.
Absolutely, yes.
So, accordingly, yes, they say you need to come at such and such a time to provide an explanation. As a rule, the lawyer starts to communicate. What are these clarifications for? What exactly do they want to obtain? And they agree on a list of questions that will roughly be asked of you tomorrow, for which you can prepare in advance. If there is a violation present, I don't know, for example, if you have an overstay, then it can be resolved on the spot. If you are engaged in any criminal activity or illegal business activities, you will most likely need to come in and provide an explanation. Well, let's say you behaved quite amicably, raised no suspicions about yourself as a person, then the lawyer can negotiate the ransom amount within these 24 hours, and you will come in just like a parrot, answer the questions asked, leave, and then pay the money and retrieve your passport.
So this is a positive outcome of the case.
Yes, I believe that a bribe is a positive outcome of the matter.
Not very positive. That's when a person already ends up there.
Yes.
What is happening to him?
He is experiencing wild stress.
Well, it's clear that they don't talk there with smiles anymore. It's a bit tougher there.
You know, it can be a bit tougher, but you can still win someone over. It all depends solely on the person. I know many cases where people were negative, and in the end, they were shouted at and threatened, and the representatives of immigration became very irritated as a result. And the cost of the bribe was also rising, right? Because they will need to pay for a psychologist with some money later, right?
What period of time can they hold someone, let's say, until clarification? How long does an average case usually take?
In a standard story, even if you are engaged in some illegal business activity, the average case is 1 to 2 days altogether. That is, you arrive, and they tell you that this is bad. And this is bad to your lawyer or visa agent who is negotiating on your behalf. They say whatever it costs, you pay it. If you don't pay, the matter drags on. If you pay, everything is settled the next day, no questions asked.
Not noted anywhere.
Not noted anywhere.
Okay. If, for example, someone turns out to be, well, an idiot, right? They start getting aggressive and they get shut down. Yes. Accordingly, he arrives there in his own vehicle. Right. Yes. And there is parking. Is it paid or free? Free.
Free parking.
Thank God. Good. There is still time. Yes, yes. And so he arrives, and there they close him in. Somehow the lawyers are trying to resolve something. Nothing is getting resolved.
So, what does it mean that nothing can be resolved? It simply means that absolutely nothing can be resolved. This is an emergency situation. Such things happen very rarely.
It's clear. The person has no money. The person has a position. Everyone seems to be not good people. And he is like D'Artagnan.
It smells like deportation.
It smells like deportation. Here's a question about deportation. We will probably address it in the next issue. And here I want to clarify, for example, whether or not, or already from where, already about deportation. Because after a person leaves somewhere, yes, or is deported, they have some loose ends left here that need to be tied up. This is the most interesting part, that probably in the next episode we will...
Yes, likely the deportation procedure will be in the next episode.
Okay. Get up. Get on up.